Good morning, beloveds. Foster's a bit excited this morning to have me back in here. Not sure why. I was here last night, but he's cat. He's very excitable. Okay, it is November 6th. Our title is Only God. Okay, our first quote is, "For your God knoweth what things ye have need of before you ask them." God, Matthew 6:8. I don't know what I was going to reread it. I don't know. We are to be fed, clothed, and supplied in every need, straight from the center and the source of all. The Science of Mind, page 496. Most of us invest a certain amount of time in concern about whether we will have the various things we desire in our lives. Having enough money often is the principal concern, for we consider money to be the means to other material comforts. But what if we were able to let go of all the worry about material things? What if we were concerned only with realizing our oneness with God, desiring only to be constantly aware of God's presence within us? No doubt our doing this would create a considerable sense of freedom from worry, for we are told that if we have put our trust in God, if we put God first, everything we need will be provided. The Spanish painter Pablo Picasso said, "When I haven't any blue, I use red." This joyful announcement seems to be one way of proclaiming that indeed we are provided for. Not necessarily with everything we want at any given moment, but with whatever we need. If we have an awareness of unity with God, we have everything we will ever need. Let us seek the kingdom first, and all else will be added. I know that God, the Creator, is aware of my every need and provides for me. Today I enter into the kingdom of heaven, and I am cared for lovingly and abundantly. Thank you, God. And that is J.A. Gene Anderson. And honestly, I'm not sure I have anything to add to that. The point of spiritual practice is that awareness of the oneness of God. Because we are always one with God, whether we're aware of it or not. But as she says, the more we are aware of it, the more free and more away from worry that we can move. And some of it has to do with, if I take that Pablo Picasso's quote at face value, it's like, well, if I don't have any blue, then I'm simply going to work on something else. Or I've had a new inspiration. And I think that's one of the things, when I talk about prosperity, and I'm not a big fan of talking about prosperity, and the reason why I'm not the big fan of talking about prosperity is because everybody gets super focused on money. And one of the things that Ernest Holmes said was, somebody came to him needing a certain amount of money because he had a debt to pay. And Ernest was like, well, what if the debt just went away? But I need that certain amount of money. And so we get so focused on the money aspect that we miss out on all the other ways that our needs could be provided for us. We might get a new inspiration in a way to do something. Somebody might gift us something that we need that has, and no money changes hands. So there's all these other ways that Spirit can bring to us and meet our needs, but we get so focused on that one narrow channel that that's all we can see. And then we fail to see the abundance of other ways that our needs could be met. And then, of course, I was also caught with the Rolling Stones song. We don't always get what we want, but we always get what we need. And sometimes we're really disappointed by that because we wanted something really badly, but it wasn't in our highest and best. There was maybe there was something else that we were supposed to be doing, and so we're kind of called in that direction, but we really, I would love to be a fabulous painter. I would love to be able to draw. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. And I'm drafting trained, so that tells you something. But there are other things that I'm really good at. And so if I got so focused on the fact that I can't draw, a straight line, then I might get really depressed, honestly. But I've looked around and I've realized that the word artist applies to a much wider range than I was willing to admit. And so, that's what spiritual practice has brought me. It's brought me to the recognition, the realization, the awareness that the world is a whole lot bigger than I've seen. And so there are abundant ways to get my needs met. And if my need to draw is simply the need to express myself, well, there's a whole lot of other ways that I can do that. I can express myself so fully in other manners because I am good at that. That this one thing that I'm not so great at, it's not that I can't do it, but it's just not one of my really good talents. It's just one of my bad ones. There's so many other ways to go. And so that's one of the things when we do our spiritual practice, when we align with God, when we are consciously aware of the presence, it opens our eyes to the abundance around us, the myriad of varieties of ways that spirit comes to us. Because if it's all God, and it is all God, then that's where we want our focus to be. And it's not that money isn't one of the avenues, but that's the point. It's one of the avenues. So we look around and we go, it's all God. And we're conscious of it. And then we take that deep breath and we go, well, if it's all God, it's going to be okay. And when we can say, it's going to be okay, then it allows us to open our minds, our eyes, and our hearts to everything else around us. So that's my idea. So for me not thinking I had anything to say, I think I had something to say. All right. So the mission today, and that's it. It's the title is Only God. It is about practicing the presence. Now, how you choose to practice the presence is up to you, and there is an infinite variety of ways to practice the presence. But that would be what I suggest your mission today is to put God first, knowing that everything we need will be provided. It just may not look like we expect it to. So, practice the presence, put God first, and know that your needs will be met. In wild and amazing ways. Try it. You might like it. All right. So you have your mission today. The second mission is the same one I give you every day, which is a spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. For me, it was, I tried to go to bed early. We had the time change, so that helped. And get a decent night's sleep but I got up and went to the gym. I know I may only go to the gym twice in the month of November, but at least I went. And it was good. And he said, yeah, you really need to be doing this particular stretch every day. And I'm like, I know. And seeing as how I can't do it the way that the way that he showed me, but I found a workaround. So, that may make it easier for me to do it every day. And that is loving and kind and compassionate. Does it hurt? Yes. but it hurts in that way that helps. So, and that's what loving, kind, and compassionate looks like. It looks like self-care. It also looks like joy. It also looks like making sure that you are taking time out in your day for joy. All right. Even in the midst of the most sad, we can find a spark of joy. And we need to find a spark of joy, because when we do the heavy work, when we do the sad work, it's that spark of joy that reminds us why. It's like we do this work to go to return to that sense of joy. So, make sure that you're making time for that. And it can look like drinking a cup of coffee. It can look like taking a nap. It can look like taking a walk. It can look like eating dessert first. It can look like making time to cuddle with your fur babies. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and one of them was asleep by my head. And there's something about that that is just, it's sweet and it's wonderful, and I really appreciate it. So, was he there when I woke up at 4? No, but there was a different one asleep on my hip. So, it is those little moments of joy that we have in our lives that we can expand out into the big ones. So, self-care. Spiritual practice. Do something loving, kind, compassionate. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. You will never look in the eyes of someone that God does not love, especially when you look in the mirror. So, practice on yourself. And it will, one, make it a habit. It will help you to create that first response. It will also create a bank of extra. So when you meet people who need a little extra, you got it to share. It also, that spiritual practice of only God, will plug you into an inexhaustible source of love, kindness, and compassion. Because that's what God is. Love, kindness, and compassion. Among all of the other things that God is. So when you plug into that, when you practice that presence consciously every day, as much as you can, then you will, you'll plug into that inexhaustible source, and you'll always have that bank to draw from, with a really friendly bank manager who's always happy to see you. All right. I would also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like, unless today is your day of rest. I do encourage those. I encourage you to drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. It was a whole lot cooler yesterday, so I don't think I drank enough water, so I'm going to have to make up a little extra today. And that's good to be aware of that. Your brain works better when it's hydrated. I also encourage you to get that early in your day bright light. I was not expecting the cloud cover because it was a beautiful day yesterday. So I wasn't expecting the cloud cover this morning. And I was just like, oh, okay. So artificial bright light, but it works too. You're resetting your circadian rhythms. So be conscious of that, and you'll sleep better at night and have more energy during the day. It is science. You can look it up. All right. And then take the words of Ernest Holmes, which we, science of mind, we quote Ernest Holmes all the time. But this particular quote, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now, always. It is all around you. It is about practicing that presence. It is. When we are aware that it is all God, then we can work to make it all good. I will remind you, especially when you're looking around going, it's all God, then why isn't it all good? Electricity is neither good nor ill. It's the use we make of it. So with God in material form, it is the use we make of it. So, let that breeze in. Let it tickle the spark of your soul. Let it fan the flames of your soul ever higher, always higher, so that you can get out and do what it is that you do. All right. And as always, you can take Emma's advice, look for the good and praise it. Gratitude will get you everywhere. Trust me. All right. Okay, so social media, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I encourage you to email info@creativelife.org to find out what's going on in the center. I.e., we have book studies, and book studies you can drop in and out of. There are a couple of classes coming up. There's a visioning class coming up. I'm not sure when it starts, but it's a really cool class, especially if you're looking for what, like a direction. Visioning is a good way to do it. Today, Reverend Jesse is apparently he had an 11-hour class yesterday. So he is resting his voice. You will get more of me. So I will be there for you at 11. And we will talk about E. All right. Any more than that, you got to come see. All right. My mind blinked out, so I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanting day, an enchanted day. That is an E word. A wondrous day, an awesome day, an amazing day. Maybe you'll hear something interesting today, day. Or maybe I will just remind you of what you already know, day. A putting God first day, a remembering that all of it is only God day, a gratitude day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. All right. It's a state of grace. The cool thing about God being pleased with us is that's the only way God can be, because God cannot judge us, because God can't put us outside of itself to judge us. So that's that was really helpful to learn that. I was like, there's no separation. It's all an illusion. God loves me because that's what God does. That's what God, and more importantly, that's what God is. So, all right. I am going to go. You are going to have this good day. If that's too much pressure, simply have the day. Take care of yourself. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. Like I said, we're about to have an amazing service for you at 11. I just got to get my notes in order and hope to God I can see them. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.